Yahweh seeks to have fellowship with those who would desire to draw close to him, he does not lessen his own set-apartness to do so, but rather he elevates those whom he calls. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, 10-Minute Torah. This is day 1 of Torah portion Mishpatim. This word means judgments or ordinances, depending on your translation. So verse 1 simply reads in chapter 21 of Exodus or Shemot, "These are the right rulings which you are to set before them." I find it very interesting that after having given to us the 10 words, or as they are more famously known, the 10 Commandments, after Yah has established a foundation of understanding of what the Torah is all about, and after brief instructions telling the priest about how to approach his altar, he addresses the people in general who are going to be walking according to the Torah and to its commands. And he says, this is how you are to experience and expect justice. The idea of Mishpatim is tort law. That is, this is about jurisprudence. This is about court cases. If a man were to sue another man, or one family suing another family over some issue of legality, when they would go to the judge would then hear their case and make his decision as to right and wrong among the parties based on these ordinances, these principles that are set forth. So the first thing that Yah establishes is a system of fairness, a system of justice. Of all of the things in the world that the Creator could have established first, what he chose was a system of justice. Now, there have been times that I, much like yourself, I'm sure, have wanted to cry out to him for justice. You've been wronged by some other party, some other person has deeply wounded you, some situation did not go well, and you felt slighted or abused, taken advantage of, or just plain wronged. And so you cry out to the Creator in your prayer, and you get to that place where you're ready to say, get him. I want you just to get them. I want you to bring down wrath and judgment on them. And we begin to realize that when we pray for someone else, may also come to ourselves. I read some wise words many years ago. It says, never pray for justice because you might get it. So while I am praying for someone else to experience the heavy hand of the Creator and find justice for what they did to me, I in turn may also find that same hand heavily laid upon myself for what I have done to someone else. So there is a system and there is a balance here that we need to keep in mind. Justice goes both ways. Now, in the year 2003, in preparation for Shavuot that year, I put together a message that is entitled The Bride, the Concubine, and the Harlot. And I delivered that standing under a tent in a rainstorm. And immediately that message had a great impact. I had no idea what the Father had given to me. I heard a lot about that message and many requests to share it again, until finally at Sukkot in 2006, I shared the message a second time publicly, and this time it was recorded. Many years later, Mike Clayton, a friend of mine, called me and asked where his copy of the recording was. Someone out west had shared with him and given him an opportunity to listen to their CD copy. He asked where his was. I didn't have a copy, so I had to find one. This message at that recording is available on my website at Remnant of Israel, Yisrael, remnantofisrael.com. And you can listen to it for free. I've had many, many responses to it, hundreds of responses to it over the years. The basic gist of that message and the foundation for it is found here in this Torah portion, as immediately in the 21st chapter, verse 2 says, when you buy a Hebrew servant, he serves 6 years, and in the 7th year he goes out for naught or for nothing. And then it begins to give instructions about his marital situation. If he brings a wife in, when he leaves, she leaves with him. Matter of fact, Rashi and other commentators say the man is in servitude, not his wife, not his pre-existing children. They live basically for free off of the owner. It's the husband who is paying the debt. He may also, either if he's single or, my understanding, even if he is married, be given a concubine, a secondary wife, by which he would also raise up children. And when he leaves, he served his sentence, his time is up. When he leaves, the concubine and the resulting children are the property of the master, not his own. There are various situations that arise in this scenario. I made a correlation as to the primary bride to the secondary bride and which is which. My understanding is that the ketubah given to the primary bride is the Torah, and the concubine is a bride, a secondary bride, who is not given a ketubah. That is, she rejects the Torah. Now, I have to admit and confess that in the days in which I originally put this message together, I still had some bit of angst against the previous systems and denominationalism that I had come out of. I'm not saying that I recorded the message in anger, but I think in the years since the recording, my heart has softened a little, necessarily so, toward those that I left behind where we came from. In the past year, my father passed away, March the 15th of 2019. And this was a man who walked righteously. Now, did he acknowledge the Torah? He really didn't understand fully what the Torah was. As much as I may have tried to explain that to him, I don't know that he ever really got that concept. So did he reject the Torah? No, not at all. Much of his life was spent observing the tenets and the commands of the Torah, yet he did it out of a heart of innocence and purity toward his Creator, his Father, not really knowing that he was keeping Torah commands. He went to the aid of his neighbor. He treated men fairly. He prayed and worshiped purely from his heart. There were some things that he didn't keep, but much of the Torah he did keep. And so is he a part of the secondary bride without the ketubah? That's not my call. I'm thankful I have a loving, righteous, just master who on that day, my Mashiach, will judge us all. So while we're talking about jurisprudence and the distribution of justice, let us be mindful that it is not our call to judge those that are in one place or the other. I can still declare the basic understanding of the bride, the concubine, and the harlot, but it is up to Yah to discern who fits in each category and not me. I'm not their judge. It's not my place, and neither is it yours. So my heart on day one, as we go into Torah law, as we look at the various principles here, is that we recognize what applies to me applies to others. And with the same justice that I would hold someone else accountable, I also will be held accountable. Therefore, in the midst of looking for justice, let us do what we ask God to do. Remember mercy, and may we find mercy. Until tomorrow, shalom.